Texas State Senate is expected to approve their proposed redistricting map, certainly a hot topic, paving the way for Republicans to gain 5 congressional seats in next year's elections. California pushing ahead as well with its own response, this time from Governor Newsom. He signed a redistricting plan that would give it 5 seats. Their plan requires voter approval, with a special election to be held this November. In the meantime, California Congressman Kevin Kiley, a Republican, introduced new legislation to ban all this mid-decade redistricting that we're seeing. He's now urging House Speaker Johnson to take it up on the floor. We're proud to say Congressman Kevin Kiley is joining us now. Congressman, nice to see you.
Good to see you as well. Thanks for having me.
You've introduced legislation to ban mid-decade redistricting nationwide. It nullifies maps adopted after 2024. I want to ask what your bill does, what you see as the greatest threat to democracy currently.
Well, the greatest threat to democracy is what's playing out in California, where not only do you have a hyper-gerrymandered map that has been drawn behind closed doors, but you have an attempt to overturn the will of voters and sideline the independent redistricting commission that they put in place. So I am very much committed to safeguarding democracy in my own state, but I think gerrymandering is a problem wherever it occurs. Gerrymandering is a plague on democracy, and it's particularly bad that it's happening now when it's not even supposed to happen. In the middle of the decade, you're supposed to just redraw the lines at the beginning of the decade. And so this idea that we're going to have some redistricting war break out across the country, this domino effect where one state after another redraws their lines with no end in sight, I think it's a recipe for total chaos. I think it's bad for representative government. And so that's why I've introduced this bill saying, let's just take a deep breath here. Let's not go further down this road. Let's get back to the issues that actually matter to the American people.
With your bill in mind, your criticism has largely been towards Governor Newsom, who is planning to hold a special election to get the new map approved. Texas also redrawing its map, this time without public input. Their state constitution doesn't rely on that as well, also at the request of President Trump. Do you have an issue with the state of Texas as well?
Yeah, I don't like what's going on in Texas either. I mean, there is some difference because in California, we have this independent commission that is supposed to do it, and they're trying to abolish that commission, even though independents, Democrats, and Republicans in California have said repeatedly, we should have lines drawn in a nonpartisan manner by an independent commission. We shouldn't be returning this power to politicians. But yes, to be very clear, I think gerrymandering is bad wherever it occurs. That's why I've introduced this bill. It would apply to Texas. It would apply to California. It would apply to all 50 states. I am urging the Speaker to bring that bill to the floor. And I'm also asking him to create a bipartisan commission that will do redistricting reform nationwide in time for the next census so we can move past this issue of gerrymandering once and for all as a country.
Going back to your great state of California, the plan also targets your very district. Some say you introduced this bill possibly solely to protect your seat. What's your response to those critics, Congressman?
Well, I'm not super concerned about my seat, actually, even though they've drawn in this like elephant-like shape. We have this trunk that goes along and continues to collect voters. The governor came after me in the last election. He sent his own staff member to run against me. They made it one of their biggest targets, and I won by 46,000 votes. And, you know, the sort of really offensive thing about gerrymandering is that the gerrymanderer, in this case, Gavin Newsom, treats voters as automatons who can't think independently, just assumes that if you put voters of a certain type in a certain district, they'll vote the way that you want. I actually have a track record of getting support from Democrats, Republicans, and independent voters because I focus on issues that really matter to my communities and my constituents. So I'm not super concerned about that. I am concerned about safeguarding democracy in my own state and preventing this chaos from cascading across the country.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.